Hello everyone, welcome back to David at Go To Hobbies. Now, stone tumbler is almost finished. In my last couple of videos, I showed you what I've done. I got it started, and do it again. These bleeding ums, they don't stop. At least I think I'm getting better than when I first started. I think an was every 5 seconds. So I'm learning not to say them. Right, what was I going to say? Yes, right. Stone tumbler. It's coming along nicely. It's all wired up, tested the motor, and I'm well and truly happy. Now, I've cut that other pulley I was saying to you in the other video for the stone tumbler, and I've got it down to 68mm, and I'm happy with it. I really am. It's all on the shafts, all connected up, just waiting to be screwed down. The reason why they're not screwed down is because I need to make a belt. This is 6mm polypropylene belt. It is what I'm going to use for my stone tumblers. This is 6mm, but I'll be using a similar one which is 4mm. And the reason why I'm using 4mm, because I've cut the pulleys or shaped the pulleys for 4mm. It's easier changed over to a 6mm. It'll probably take it no problems whatsoever. But for this example, I wanted to show you what I've made to join the pulley belt together. So what you're going to need, excuse me, I've got a runny nose, is a normal kitchen knife. Nothing special, just an old kitchen knife that the wife doesn't want. Yeah, okay, one of those. Nothing fancy, right? Any old knife will do, even a bit of metal. The purpose of it is you need to heat it up. That's what you do with that. Right. On the internet, on YouTube, you'll see a manner of all different shapes and sizes, some elaborate, to join this stuff together. You can make the bee's knees. But at the end of the day, you don't need it. Why go to that expense of buying it or making it and it's all singing and dancing? You don't need it. You really don't need it. Why don't you need it? Because all you need to do is hold that bit of plastic between two bits of wood, and you need to heat up the centre bit where the two ends meet. Take that heat source away and then push them gently together, but they can't be too far away, otherwise they won't be in alignment. So how do you make yourself a jig? Easy, and please allow me to show you. Right, this is what I've designed. All it is a bit of scrap wood. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. So what did I use for your own benefit? Allow me to use this to tell you what it is. It is 15mm by 38mm by 70.5mm. It doesn't have to be precise. It really doesn't matter. But the only thing you will need, you need it to be in 2 halves. If you don't have it in 2 halves, you might join it together, that plastic, but you're never going to get it out because all it is glued together, and you're buggered, as they would say. You can't get it out. You've made a nice pulley belt, but you can't get it out because you've got no way of separating it. So you need 2 bits of wood. All I've done was I cut these bits of wood to the same size. Honestly, it can be just an old bit of scrap wood. That's all you need. nothing special. You could use a bit of ply, 18mm ply, two sandwiched together. Does exactly the same thing. You can make it as big as you want, you can make it as small as you want. Right, there's no hard or fast rules. Yeah, but the only principle you're going to need to be mindful of is you need to separate them so you can get your pulley belt that you've glued together out of it. As I say, if you don't, you're stuffed. Right, now just be mindful, a few things to take in consideration. The belts, this drive belt I was showing you, is 6mm and there's a 4mm. You drill a hole 4mm and you won't be able to push that polypropylene belt through. You're going to have to make that hole a fraction a little bit bigger, possibly 4.5mm, 5mm, and for the 6mm you probably might need a 6.5mm or 7mm, because this stuff is rough on the outside, so when you push it through there, mine goes through nicely, as you can see. I'll wiggle it around and it'll come out the other side. So now I've done that, so as I'm saying, what you do, allow me to explain. You get two bits of wood and you clamp them together once they've cut to the same size. So you've got two bits of wood, say 70mm long. Doesn't have to be massive, you can make it as big or small as you like, as I say, but the smaller you make it, the more risk of it falling apart and breaking, because you need to put two bolts through it to clamp it together, and when you want to take it apart once you've made it, you need to undo that. So just be mindful, if you screw it together, things are going to deteriorate over a period of time. By the way, excuse the dogs barking, it's a regular occurrence, as you will know if you're a regular watcher. Now, as I'm saying, so you cut it through, you have a bit of wood, right, you sandwich it together and hold it with a pair of G-clamps. If you don't know what G-clamp is, Google it. Alright, yeah, I used one, that's all I needed. But what I've done, because you're using a small bit of wood, you can put it in, you can get your drills through it. So when I designed this, I needed to find out how long my drill was so I could get it to go through it. That way, if you make it too big, the problem you will find is you won't get your drill all the way through. Bear that in mind. So smaller is better than bigger, and it does exactly the same job. You might spend, let's say, 40 or 50 quid on someone's already made one up for you, and you don't want to go to the bother. All this has cost me is my time, a couple little bolts and a couple nuts. That's all it's cost me. Easy, really. So as I'm saying, so you'll need something a little bit bigger than a 4mm, but drill it with a 4mm first as a pilot hole, and then you've got the other one, which is a 6mm. You use that same drill at a 4mm for the 6mm hole, and then you can drill it out bigger. Right, so now you've got that clamped together. Don't use glue, you don't need glue, otherwise you won't get it apart again. Right, so you've got it clamped together. Obviously I've cut this bit out afterwards. You've got it in your vise or your G clamp, right, and you're holding it. Piece of advice, if you can drill it with like a bench drill, you'll be far much better, because the base plate where the drill you can adjust up and down. As I say, excuse the doggies, they have a mind of their own. It seems inevitable when I start making a video, it's woof woof woof. Sorry about that. Right, so dogs say. So drill a 4mm hole through there, another one 4mm hole through there, and then you open this one up later with a bigger drill. The reason I'm telling you this is because you're going to need this to make your pulleys, and I wanted to. I thought about it when I was making it. How can I make it easy and simple? But as I say, bear in mind you need a drill to go all the way through here. So you need to measure your drill and then make sure it goes into the chuck. You've got enough left on the drill so you can get it in the chuck of the drill. So what technique I used, because these are sandwiched together and clamped together with a G clamp, I was able to turn this up. Once I got through so far, I turned it up the other way because you need, first of all, you need a long pilot drill, which is probably a little bit longer than the normal drill. You can get them. They're off again, aren't they? And that way I was able to drill all the way through without stopping. Yep. So I've got 2 holes drilled. Yeah. Next, go for your next size up. Do the same process. With this, what you'll probably find is that you won't get your drill all the way through. So what you have to do is take it out, use your pilot hole that you've gone all the way through with, and put your drill back through. That being said, you will get virtually nearly where you got now, this bit. So what you do is you measure, once you've drilled your holes and that and you're happy, if the 6mm hole, as I say, doesn't fit, use a little bit of bigger drill to get it to go through. Yeah, these are perfectly in line. As when I make my pulley up, this is absolutely brilliant. So I hope you like it. Any questions or anything like that, let me know. Oh, by the way, before I forget, to get this piece cut out, what you do, you mark this in the middle. You find out what your middle is, and then what you need to do, you need to cut down far enough so you're just past the 6mm hole. I went past probably about 1/4 inch, because if you have enough thickness in your wood, it'll allow you to do that. You don't want something that's, you know, 1" by 1". You won't have enough meat on the wood to allow you to bolt it together, unless you make one. There's another one, wasn't there? Unless you make up a one for 6mm and one for 4mm jig, but I don't see why you need to do that when you can do 2 at the same time. If I wanted to, I could incorporate another size if I needed to, but that would mean making it bigger. But because I only bought 4mm and 6mm, that's what I've made. Right, I know I'm waffling on. So as I say, mark it in the centre, mark it about 1/4 inch below the bottom. So you cut through and make sure you're the same measurement either side. In other words, if it's, let's say, 20mm down, yeah, to the bottom where that 1/4 inch past that hole, then mark it both sides, and then score a line across both sides, so you know when you're cutting the wood, you go to the same level either side. You don't want to go sawing like a hammer out of, or bat out of hell. You want to do it gingerly, carefully. Otherwise, you saw it in half and then you have to start all again. Right. So you cut the centre line and you mark off a little bit, say, I don't know, 4mm either side of that. So you mark off 4mm, you mark a line down on the other one. So you got 4mm this side, 4mm that side. So basically you're making a little recess like this. So you can put your knife in. Allow me to show you. So what I'm trying to show you is you've got, let me just bring that one back. Right, so I know it's a bit kinked, right, but because it's going like that, that's why it's doing this, because it's going to be touching at the top and not the bottom, because it's doing that. All right, well, once it's on the table or in a vise, you're going to position your polypropylene belt in a different position, so it's not off, not off straight edge. In other words, it's going to be flush together. But the other thing to bear in mind, make sure these are cut off at 90 degrees. So you need a nice straight cut. It's not too important. The reason why I'm saying that is when you put your hot knife, you're going to be melting both sides. You take your knife out of the way and just push them together and hold them together firmly. You need to count at least 30 seconds, maybe a minute, because you want it to set in that position. Even for 2 minutes, it won't do any harm. So you're just counting the seconds away up to 120. Yeah, so you've done that, you've made your belt. Now you need to, once it's done, you need to take your nuts off, pull your bolts out, separate it, and then you need to gently cut round that. It's almost like a rubber ring round the polypropylene belt, and you just need to trim that off. You don't want to dig into the rubber or polypropylene, but you just want it to flush with the surface, so you got a nice clean belt, and there you will have it, your belt made up. But the cost to you is virtually next to nothing, because you've made it yourself, you followed my instructions, and you saved yourself a lot of money. All you have to use is obviously a knife. And now, what do you do with the knife? You need to get a blowtorch. But please bear in mind, heat will transfer through this. So you need some way of actually clamping it in a holder. And that's my next project, to make a holder for the knife. So you can have it in a position and you can bring this up and you push the belts together. With holding two hands, the knife's already heated. All you need to do is take your blowtorch away. The knife won't go cold straight away. It'll be sufficiently hot so you can put that in a position against your 2 bits of polypropylene tubing so you can get it to join. Once it's started melting, you move it away, push them together. Don't touch this, it's going to be bleeding hot. I know. I have to tell you this because it's for safety reasons. As I say, any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you. There's another one. If you get stuck and you're not sure how to do this, as I said, you could literally get a bit of 2x2 timber, cut it down the middle, yeah, clamp it together. The reason why I say cut a bit of 2x2 in half, because your saw cut will be identical to both sides. Bear that in mind. So you've got a bit of, or whatever way you want to do it, I'm just making a suggestion to you. So that's how I went about making my polypropylene pipe jig to make my pulley belts up. As I say, what do you think? Do you think it's a brilliant idea? My own design? I saw someone else making one, I thought, how do I make one better? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, and obviously leave me a comment and see what you like. And yeah, much appreciated for coming over and seeing me. Last thing before we go, please subscribe and please hit the bell icon and click all, and you'll see lots more of my fantastic videos and me doing more. So we'll see you in the next one. Take care for now. Look after yourself. Bye bye.